Hey guys, Martin here bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and today I have found something very special on my friends list that I decided to show off. It's kind of become a bit of a meme on the channel recently. It's been mentioned in a couple of my streams. A lot of jokes centered around Super Android 17. Now he is probably one of the most underrated 120 leaders, I want to say. And it is probably a well-known fact to anyone familiar with the channel at this point that I really like Super 17 and the Extreme AGL team. So, when I saw a Rainbow Star Super 17 on my friends list, I decided that I had to jump into Boss Rush and show him off, just to really show what he can do and his team. Aside from the support Rildo from the actual AGL banner, I would say this is the optimal AGL team. If I did get the Rildo, I would replace Cooler, because Cooler gives a very nice buff to the team. I think it's 30% attack and defense, whereas obviously the Rildo gives 40% and 3 key. So I kind of don't want to take him off rotation, because really we need to get him onto the other rotation with the androids, so we won't see him tanking in full effect. And of course Majin Vegeta won't get a super attack if we do that. So yeah, let's do it. Well, we can take a turn or two to get our rotations set up, that's fine. Just to see how well this man tanks. Because Super 17 is a great tank anyway. He can tank fairly well even on Super Battle Road, which is obviously the hardest event that Global has currently. Even with no dupes in him. I've managed to do Extreme AGL Super Battle Road. Unfortunately it was off camera. I've actually done every single one of the extreme stages now, but they've all been off camera. All of my on-camera attempts have failed, and then while I've been killing time at work, I've managed to do all of them. So I'm hoping to recreate that on camera at some point, because I didn't have a dupe in my Majin Vegeta, for example, when I beat it the first time. And now that I have a Rainbow Star 17 on my friends list, I should hopefully be able to do it again, because the one I used when I did it the first time only had one dupe, so hopefully should be able to do it. Obviously Super Battle Road does involve quite a lot of luck and RNG, so who knows, but just casually hitting for 1,000,000. I guess we do have type advantage, but yeah, any of you that saw the three-way race that I did with JCV Goku and Y-Try a little while ago, I used the Extreme AGL team to try and do a boss rush race. The only problem I would say with Super 17, and it's not a problem in Dokkan Fest events and things like that, is the fact that he takes a long time to build up. He needs to get hit 4 times before he gets his maximum attack bonus, whereas a lot of other units just will get a straight up 100 or 120% bonus straight off the bat, whereas he gets 30%, which stacks for every time he gets hit. So he definitely doesn't do as well as some of the other 120 leaders without having taken any hits. But once he takes those hits, he hits pretty hard, and obviously he is a tank, he reduces damage, and he's not a defense-based tank like somebody like Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, which means that he will still mitigate damage from super attacks, which is really useful. Because as you may know, defense-based tanks that are able to tank attacks because their defense stat is so high, if they get hit by enemies whose super attack lowers defense, they'll still take pretty much just as much damage as anybody else. Which is why you'll see certain Dokkan Fest bosses will still super attack Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, for example, or units like LR Piccolo for over 100,000. Let's just get a 1.6 million crit from Rose there. So let's see. This time we should have. So we've got we need to float off the androids, because we want the androids to be the link partner for the 100% 17. So yeah, I guess we can do this. Well, we will get a super attack with Vegeta, so that's good. So yeah, technically in terms of the links that they provide, the AGL Trenchcoat 17 is technically the better link partner for Android 17 or Super Android 17, but the LR androids obviously do a lot more damage than that support 17, and because that support 17 provides key as well, it's good having him as one of the 3rd slot rotation units, just so he can help out the other rotations as well. But you can see here Let's see if we move them like this. I guess Rosé's giving 3 key, so it doesn't really matter a huge amount. I'm sure they have a defensive link, so if he has just shy of 45k defense, and then we put them together. Yeah, he has just shy of 46,000 defense. So it's not a huge defensive link, but that is a link that they do in fact share. So we floated the androids off the last one, so we need to float Rosé off of this one, so that this can be our main 17 rotation. And there we go. So yeah, I mentioned it in my stream, but I think we didn't get many comments about it in the actual stream because it was fairly close to the end that I brought it up. But definitely in the comments for this video, let me know your top 5, obviously 1 being the best, 5 being the worst, of how you would rate the Extreme 120 leaders. And feel free to do the same for the Super ones as well if you like. For me, I think it's pretty hard to deny that Cooler and the Extreme Physical team is the best. And I do mean to include not just the unit themselves, because their team I feel plays a big part. Because Int Kid Buu is probably on paper a slightly better unit than Super 17, maybe. He definitely hits a lot harder. He doesn't tank, but he does regenerate you health with his super attacks, which means giving him some high points in additionals means you can get back even more health with him, which is nice. But he of course has no key links, so you kind of have to build your team around supporting him in that sense. And so that is a bit of a detriment, because the way I run my Extreme Int team, I'm pretty much forced to bring 3 support units for that 3rd slot that all give key, just to make sure that Kid Buu can super attack every turn. Whereas, as you can see from this team, Rosé is kind of a support unit in himself. Vegeta doing 2.2 million. Rosé is like a support unit in himself because he gives key, and he's on one of our main rotations. And then the Trenchcoat 17 gives key, and obviously if I could get the Metal Rildo, he would replace Cooler, because Cooler doesn't give key, just 30% to stats. So the team only really has the Trenchcoat 17 and the Cooler as units that don't hit particularly hard. So everyone else on the team is putting in work. And to be fair, as a TUR, the Trenchcoat 17 is not the worst. I've slowly but surely been leveling up his super attack using the various SR 17s that you pull all the time. And so I had to unreverse him for this particular showcase, but I think mine is at super attack 8 now. So I'm sure Vegeta won't get taken out in this one turn, so we'll see how much damage he does. Obviously it's not going to be as much as anyone else, but we shall see. Because there are a lot of super support units that are optimal on their teams, units like Pandel for Super Int or the Fusions, who are really great for giving a buff to everybody else, but they just don't hit for anything by themselves. So it's nice to have a unit that can at least do a little bit of damage. Let's see what he can actually do. And see, with all those android links as well, the LR android's tanking pretty well, especially for a free-to-play LR. So 157k is not bad. I mean, we've done showcases of free-to-play units that are basically Rainbow that weren't doing that much damage. So as a support unit who's literally just there to help out everybody else, he is definitely not bad at all. So just grab those, I guess. So yeah, definitely interested to hear what you guys think about that top 5. So like I say, Cooler probably goes in that first slot because Extreme Physical is just busted. It's so good. I mean, the team doesn't even have an LR because you can't really count Ginyu because we don't have him on global anyway, and not a lot of people that play JP even got him because of the fact that Battlefield was not particularly well received when it came out. So the team doesn't even have an LR to put in its arsenal, and it's still one of the strongest teams in the game. Then I would put AGL next. Then probably Int, just because Kid Buu, Buhan, Turles is a great support unit that also stuns and deals an alright amount of damage. He does have a farmable super attack, which helps. And then obviously, of course, there's now the Angel Golden Frieza, and then if you're lucky, there's also the LR Bojack. So let's see. So the 100% 17 gets the Dokkan. Obviously we've started a fresh event and he's only been hit once. So he only has a 30% attack boost. But he's linked with the LR androids, and obviously it is a Dokkan attack against the first stage enemies. So I don't have any doubt whatsoever that he'll wipe them all out. And the number that he'll dish out is probably not realistic compared to what we do against the final boss. But he should still do a pretty decent number. Yeah, nearly 2 million after only taking one hit. So that's pretty good. But yeah, so in, as I said, has Angel Golden Frieza, has LR Bojack now as well, if you're lucky enough to have pulled him. And then I would say Tech. Super Saiyan 3 Broly, I do think is another unit that's very underrated. I actually really like him. Obviously he has his drawbacks. It is a shame that he loses a lot of defense and doesn't really make up for it in the attack department, because, you know, there are other 120 leaders that hit just as hard as him without sacrificing all their defense. So that is a bit of a shame. But I still like him. Obviously LR Black and Zamasu make that team much better, especially if you also have Merge Zamasu. And so the reason I put Extreme Strength as the last and worst out of the 5 teams is mainly comes down to Janemba. The other factors will be things like, you've got units like STR Omega Shenron, who, I mean, I have him Rainbow, and as good as he is a little bit outdated now. He's not hitting as hard as some of the other, you know, top level TURs that you use on the other teams. LR Broly is good, but it's hard to get him links on that team unless you have the TUR version, which again puts you in a position where you're forced to run a support unit to make the most out of him. And then that's when you then start to run out of really good options. Obviously LR Frieza is not bad. Strength Perfect Cell is pretty decent, but again, he's not the best unit. I have 2 dupes in mine and SA10, and on Super Battle Road he still doesn't do a particularly huge amount of damage. I know he has a mechanic where he stacks his attack and defense, but he's still not super impressive. And then we get to Janemba himself, whose only gimmick, his only mechanic, is that he is supposed to dodge attacks. Now obviously he has the defends against all types as if he had type advantage, just like the Int one. But I feel like the issue becomes a lot more prevalent when you're playing Super Battle Road, because we were talking about this in the stream the other day. So you already have type advantage, so that part of his passive is basically ignored anyway. And so his only mechanic, the only thing that he does, is that he's supposed to dodge attacks for you. And I played a couple of runs of the Extreme Strength one in that stream, and he just barely ever dodged. I even got the STR Rose to get a level 3 dodge off in one turn, and then Janemba was taking, I think, 3 or 4 attacks and didn't dodge any of them. So Rose with his level 3 dodge, which is a 3% chance, dodged more times than Janemba in that turn. So, and that's the thing. So 17, you know, his build up might be a bit of a turn off for you because he's not going to deal millions of damage in the first couple of turns, but you know, he is a tank. He reduces damage from super attacks. He's got good links with everybody else on his team. And once he does get those 4 hits in, he is then dealing the kind of damage you would expect. Because obviously his super attack does immense damage, which is exactly what you would want from a unit that is supposed to be a team leader. And yeah, links great with everyone. I like his art. I mean, that's the thing. I'm not a huge fan of GT. I've mentioned that on the channel before. But I do like Super 17. I think he's one of the only good things about GT. I've mentioned that before, but literally I think I list the good things about GT as being Super 17, Super Saiyan 4, just the form in general I do think is pretty cool. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta as well, obviously. The Shadow Dragon arc, I like the concept of it, the idea that the Dragon Balls have stored up this negative energy and then they break open into these evil dragons. Each one was born from a wish that is selfish. I think that's a really cool idea. The only downside to it is that all of the Shadow Dragons except for Nova, Ice and Sin are all really lame. And like, they all get like 1 or maybe a 2-parter episode where a lot of them are just played for comedy. And yeah, they're just not, it's just not particularly good. The last part, like I say, with Ice and Nova, Sin, and then of course Omega is pretty cool. But yeah, I just generally don't like the show. It's filled with many, many plot errors. It strikes me as one of those horrible spin-off-y type things where it feels like the person who wrote a lot of it didn't watch Dragon Ball Z, because there's just loads of stuff that contradicts things from Z, or like characters say things that they just shouldn't say based on things that they did in the previous series. But I mean, I don't want this to turn into a huge like GT discussion, but let me know in the comments what you think about GT. Obviously no hate for anyone who does actually like it. It is still part of Dragon Ball at the end of the day. So I just have a lot of issues with it. I feel like it could have been better than it was, which is a bit of a shame, but there you go. So as you can see, we are now up to the Super Saiyan 3 Angel Goku event, and we are still practically on full health. We haven't used a single item. So as you can see from the gameplay, which I apologise, I haven't really been commenting on much. There's not a huge amount to say with yet another boss rush, which is sadly the only real sort of event that you can showcase units on at the moment, because a single Dokkan event will be over too quickly. So hopefully you can see from the gameplay and the numbers that he's been putting out that Super 17 is definitely not a bad unit. I guess maybe one of the reasons people don't like him is just automatically because he's from GT, but I mean, I don't know. I'm hoping once I pick up some more stones, I'm going to do a few more summons on the Rose banner. Obviously, as you may have seen from my summon videos, I've already pulled Rose with a dupe, but I have not pulled any Super 17 dupes, and I very much would like to rainbow him myself, so I'll definitely do a few more summons. I'm obviously not going to chase like all 4 dupes, but I definitely would at least like to get 1 or 2 more. With all the orbs they gave out as the reward yesterday, I had a ton of units to put orbs into, but no AGL ones. Well, I mean, no AGL ones that are sort of desperate for orbs that I really want to use. And so I'm kind of waiting just in case, because if I can pull a Super 17 dupe, I don't want to have used up all of my AGL orbs and then not be able to feed them into him. So I'm going to save them up. So 34k from a super attack, pretty good. You would expect at this stage to take around 70 to 80 on somebody else. So Super 17 showing off his tanking, critting for over 1 million. I mean, obviously LRs and some of the very top tier TURs will hit for maybe 2 million plus, but you definitely consider a unit decent if they can hit for over 1 million, I think. So he's definitely not lacking in the damage department. And there's the LR androids critting for almost 1 million, so then they get off a second attack. They want to break that 1 million damage mark as well. So this is the only stage that you may have trouble with when you do this event. I think the first time I actually ever went through boss rush with my Extreme AGL team, this was the only stage that I had to use an item on. Because I didn't get any crits in like the first 2 turns, and so obviously to stop him from doing his countdown, I just used the Ghost Usher. But everyone on this rotation, apart from Cooler, can now actually crit, because I was very fortunate and pulled a dupe for Majin Vegeta. Check out that summon video if you haven't seen it. It's a few videos ago now, but sadly didn't get a crit. But yeah, when it comes in, it is very, very nice. Having dupes in summonable LRs is definitely a nice feeling. But I mean, Cooler definitely not going to do much damage, but 49,000. Okay, but we've got our best sort of defensive lineup now. Oh, and that Majin Vegeta, I didn't even realise Majin Vegeta got the rare chance to stun off with his super attack. So I like that. So that means Goku doesn't get to continue his countdown, which means next turn we're not in danger of the one-shot attack. So it should be all good, especially if the 17 or the androids can get some crits, but 17 did not. Should have checked the guy's stats. I'm fairly sure I looked and he went for the pretty standard 15 crit 11 additional. As I'm sure you guys are aware at this point, I'm a big fan of 3 dodge on pretty much every unit, so if I do manage to pull the 2 dupes that will allow me to open up his paths with the star abilities, I would go for 15 crit 8 additional and 3 dodge. But yeah, he's gone for the 15-11, which is pretty standard for physical or agility units if you don't fancy giving them 3 dodge. I recommend it. you know, it's only a 3% chance, but when it comes into play, it is pretty awesome. It's very clutch, especially on modes like Super Battle Road when you dodge a super attack. I tweeted out a screenshot of that actually. I think it was yesterday. It was while I was playing Super Battle Road and managed to finish the Extreme one whilst I was at work. Super Saiyan Rose Goku Black managed to dodge a super attack in the first round from Farsha from the Bardock team with his level 3 dodge, so that was very much appreciated. No one getting crits, so fortunately we did stun with Vegeta that turn ago, so we are not behind on the countdown clock, because we could have been in trouble. I mean, obviously we would have just used an item, but we should take him out this turn now. So let's give you that, and you can take all of those, and I guess Cooler, it doesn't really matter too much. So hopefully we take him out this turn, although then we go into the first stage of the Kid Buu event with a Dokkan attack, which will be complete overkill. So the LR androids, hopefully they can actually crit and just take him out. There you go. Goodbye Super Saiyan 3 Goku. So we just got Kid Buu to go. I guess we didn't really need to go all the way through Boss Rush. I think we've seen a pretty good example of Super 17 putting in work both defensively and offensively. So now we're going to get a nice big Dokkan attack with Majin Vegeta. Possibly, because the orbs are not falling great, but there you go. That's all good. So this should be quite a ridiculous amount of damage. Hopefully we can actually get the crit. Okay. Come on, Majin Vegeta. Let's see what you can do against Super Buu. Here we go. Final impact. 2.8 million without a crit. I mean, it's kind of what you would expect from a summonable LR that has a dupe, and obviously he's fully orbed up as he can be with one dupe, so he is a very powerful unit. No surprise there, really. And great big supers for everyone, ultra super for the LRs, and full health thanks to the Dokkan attack. Nice crit. So as you can see, the Super Android 17 did not take any hits. So just 750k is obviously not necessarily great for a 120 leader, but that is him without any attack boost. As like we discussed, the other 120 leads would get, say, a 120% attack boost just straight off the bat. He needs to get hit 4 times to actually get his. So doing 750k is definitely not bad. We're going to have to ultra super with Majin Vegeta, otherwise he can't super at all, which is kind of annoying. And then we can't super with Rose, and then Cooler can get a super, but he's not going to do a lot. I mean, even though it's the 18 key, Majin Vegeta could one-shot him here, but no, 1.14, so gonna take a couple of super attacks now, but 53k due to those high LR stats is not the worst. Rose getting a crit. Shame that wasn't a super attack, we probably would have taken him out. And then Cooler, so you can see the difference from the LR stats. Yeah, it took about 20k more. That's actually not that bad. I suppose Cooler is giving everyone a 30% defensive buff as well. And then, yeah, we're going to see 17 will tank the super attack nicely in the first slot. 2 super attacks, should I say, which is a little bit annoying, but yeah, 27k. That's much better. And that, of course, just building up his attack. Ready to go through into the final stage against Kid Buu. So yeah, there he almost did as much as he did with the crit the first time around, thanks to that attack build up. So now we have Kid Buu. And the fact that he is in the last slot is actually really useful for us because 17 can tank. It's a shame that is a key link because we definitely want... yeah, we definitely want Majin Vegeta to super. Unfortunately, he's going to be the only one, so we're not going to take him out this turn. Which is a little bit annoying because we do run the risk of coming close to dying, but... oh well. Majin Vegeta is just going to get the stun with a 1,000,000 damage super attack and then just do another almost 1,000,000 damage super attack. So, yeah. I guess we all good. The RNG coming in for Super 17, who is now not going to get a super attack. Unless we do this. Oh, actually, no, he can because he'll get those 2 rainbows, won't he? So let's do that. Because, yeah, hopefully Super 17 will take him out. Otherwise, it's going to be down to the LR androids. So, he's had at least 3 attacks. I don't know if he did get the full 4. So, let's see if he can finish off Kid Buu. Yeah, there you go. Get that crit for over 1,000,000. Get out of here, Kid Buu. You are the 3rd best. I surpass you and take 2nd place. So, there you go. That is a showcase of... basically the optimal Extreme AGL team if you don't have Metal Rildo. Rainbow Star, Super 17 putting in work. And yeah, there's not much else to say. I love this team. I love Super 17. Can't wait to hopefully pull some more dupes and get him to Rainbow myself one day. I was really hoping to get at least one from the 1,000-day tickets, but sadly we did not get any 120 leaders from those. Got some okay ones, but no 120 leads. But there you go, that is the Extreme AGL showcase. Like I say, let me know in the comments your top 5 Extreme 120 leaders, and obviously feel free for Super as well. Let's get a discussion going down there about who is the best. And yeah, that is going to be it for this video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. If you liked what you saw, please leave a like and click that subscribe button if you are new. Put up daily Dokkan content. Also follow me on Twitter at the Masked Ningen. Feel free to tweet me your summon pulls or ideas on themes and teams that you want to see in the future. And I will see you guys again soon. Have a good one.